Hi, nobodies. It has been a fantastic day. My best friend Brian called me a few times today, and I always love talking to Brian. He's one of the only people that calls me. I mean, my aunt calls me occasionally, but I saw her yesterday, so she wasn't going to call today. And I did get a phone call from my daughter. Uh, she lives with me, but she did call. um, so we had a bit of a dust up this morning because she couldn't find her money. She was really upset. She had $40, and the girl's 14. Yes, she's 14. Excuse me. I was sitting there thinking, she's almost ready to work. Anyway, she's 14, and so she saved up money. She's got $40. She couldn't find it. She's like, it was there yesterday. I had it. I know it was right here. Now, around these parts, I am a fucking bloodhound. Okay? I guess in this case, I was a money hound. Could not find it anywhere, and I was thinking, well, somebody must have took it. Now, there aren't a lot of people that come and go out of our house, and my son would be a likely candidate for maybe he took it. But he's just not that greedy. And he's not that good at keeping a secret. So if he's got money, he's going to say, hey, I need to go to the store, spend this money. I mean, he's. So after she left to go to the store, I was sitting here and I was like, I've got to find this money. I have to. So it's got to be in this house, because I don't want to blame. I mean, the only other person it could have been was her boyfriend, like if it was taken. So, and she's like, well, I don't think he did. So I was like, okay, no worries. Now, what I was looking for was not what I pictured in my head. She said a tin, Tin. So I was looking for like a tin or an Altoids package or whatever. It turns out it was a square bucket, a little square bucket. Anyway, I went through the house and I said, okay, if I was going to steal this money, where would I put the tin? Because I wouldn't leave with the tin. I'd leave with just the money. Now, see, so many times I stole money from my mom, my dad, my brother. And I was always really good about putting stuff back. A lot of thieves don't think like that. They don't think about, hey, I'm leaving a mess and somebody's going to know somebody's rifled through my stuff. They're going to know that I rifled through their stuff. They're going to know I was here. Well, that was something I didn't want. I didn't want them to know I was there. So I was always very careful to notice the finest details on where everything was at when I would snoop. Because I wasn't always stealing. Sometimes I was snooping, just seeing what, I stopped doing that. I stopped like snooping in my brother's room after I found a stick of butter that looked like a chalk stick for in a pool hole. I was like, oh, okay. But he did have change. Now, see, I'd never take bills. Bills are noticeable. But nickels and pennies and dimes, those aren't really noticed. And I wouldn't take all of them. I mean, a person's first thing would be, oh, I'm going to get paper money and quarters. People tend to notice those missing. So I would go through and I wouldn't take all of them. I'd look and see how many there were, because I was always also thinking ahead to what if they're trying to trap me? What if, like that whole, you caught this trick, but you missed this one, Like I gave people more credit for being sneaky. And like when it comes down to me hiding something, because, it's like put it in a good place. I hide stuff so well that I don't even remember where it's at. No, kidding. The stuff I've always been good about hiding the stuff I'm not supposed to have, and I hide very well. So if you find something that you think I'm hiding, you ain't found what I'm hiding. And I know when somebody's been through my stuff. I mean, even if it looks like it's a big pile of just, oh, this is just a big pile where she throws everything. I know how it looks. I have a photographic memory. So, and it's constantly updated. So I know, like, when I walk in that something's different. Like when I came out of the bathroom from taking my bath, I noticed half a pill on my nightstand, in a spot where I leave my halves and quarters, and I knew that there was a quarter there earlier, but not a half. And I noticed that instantly, that this ain't right. Now, my daughter that lost her money was, she also has like this whole, there's something new in the house. She immediately comes in. You went to the store. What'd you get? Like, she knows. I could go to the store and get Band-Aids, and she would know that I had been to the store. She might not know I got Band-Aids, but she knew I went. And so she's wanting to know what I got. So I went into the bathroom, and I was looking all over the bathroom for where would I throw the tin. And also I was looking for where would I hide something if I didn't want somebody to find it. And I'm happy to report that nobody's hiding stuff in their bathroom. I did not come across anything that I was like, oh no. So then I was like, okay, so I'll go check the other bathroom, which I just gave a cursory look to because for the most part it's my oldest daughter's bathroom. So I was like, okay, nothing in there. So I went back to my daughter's room, and I was like, where else could it be? I checked the closet because I said I might throw it into the closet, So I looked in the closet, not in the closet. And then I said, well, I'm going to check the dresser one more time because she was already saying she checked the dresser. Well, in my mind, I said, okay, she checked the dresser, but how frantic was she when she checked the dresser that she couldn't find her money? And what happens when you're frantic? You notice things that are right in front of your face. So I checked the dresser, got to the bottom drawer, and I said, those are those bikini bottoms I told her she can't wear because they show a lot of her ass. She's only 14. No. Thankfully, she's not comfortable showing that much ass either. So, works out. And there's her money right underneath that in a square bucket that she calls a tin. This is the same kid, bear in mind, this is the same kid that when I say I want Oriental ramen noodles, she calls them original. So I don't always know what she's saying when she says something. She goes, isn't that original? So sometimes she says the wrong word to something. And Oriental is one of those that she always says original, or she'll say something similar to original that's an actual word. And so I won't know what she's talking about. So I called her up on the phone, and I had already talked to her because she'd already called me. So I called her up, and I was like, hey, I found your money. Because she was distraught, and I kept telling her, I was like, it's just $40, no big deal. And she's like, where'd you find it? I said, I found it underneath those bikini bottoms you ain't supposed to wear. She goes, I keep meaning to get rid of those. Like, I don't care. I can wear those as underwear. Lord knows I did it enough times if I didn't do my laundry. I'd say, well, I got bikini bottoms, so I got underwear. Because, when you're like her age going commando, you're like, no, that ain't happening, But I was a little thief when I was a kid. And also, I'd spend my lunch money on cigarettes, so needed lunch money too. And it's kind of funny, when my dad died, he had all these quarters, this whole collection of quarters. Now, when I was a teen, he was always collecting the little, they're not sesquicentennial quarters. They're like bicentennial quarters or something. They got a little drummer boy on the back. Well, my dad collected those. Well, I come to find out my dad collected a lot of quarters. Now, see, I drained those quarters on the regular. So I've taken all those quarters and completed his states. And I mean, I've got the ones printed in Pennsylvania and the ones printed in Denver, or minted, sorry. I did states, and he'd already collected a lot of the state parks, which he had them just in a mug. You know, he didn't have them like in a book. So I went and bought a book to put those in. And I've pretty much replenished all of those quarters I took from him. I think he'd get a kick out of that I took his hobby and spent money on his hobby to complete it, because he didn't. But he had a collection. My dad was always collecting stuff. I actually, you know, he had a quarter from 1946 that's actually silver, which is pretty neat. And it's always one of those things, it's fun to have it like in a handful of quarters, because you can actually hear it different than the other quarters. So I just thought I'd share that, because like I said, I stole a lot of quarters from him. A lot. Because he would only buy me 1 pack of cigarettes a week. Well, I smoked more than a pack a week. So, anyway, don't smoke. It sucks. I quit smoking classic cigarettes about 3 years ago. And I'm not going to say what my reasons were for doing that, because it doesn't really matter anymore. But I quit and started vaping, which I know is not better, but I don't smell like an ashtray. And I'm thinking that if I was kissed, I would taste like my vape juice, which has got to be better than cigarette smoke. So, healthier in that regard. I think about all the money I spent. Jesus. So, I had a great day. I hope you had a great day, all of you that don't watch me. And I know there's a ton of nobodies out there. Whether you like me or don't like me, it's anybody's guess. I guess it shouldn't matter, but it does. I want everybody to like me. That's just who I am. I mean, I'll go out of my way to make an asshole like me. I mean, it's just like, but I gotta be nice. That's who my parents raised. They raised a person who is supposed to be nice to everybody and is supposed to be seen as nice, pleasant, I would strive for delightful, but that's a lot of work with some people. So I'll settle for nice. Select few get delightful. So anyway, I'm in a good mood and I'm going to have a great night. So good night.